Hey guys, welcome back to Puff It Louda, and welcome to Lauren's confession. Is she going to have an actually good confession where she doesn't lie at all and we can just figure out and who killed who and just call it case closed? Probably not, but let's just do it anyways.
The one who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew that we could get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Amano would pay anything to get his son back after all. Everything was going according to plan, but as soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me.
There, are you satisfied? She just confessed to her crimes a second time. At least you have the guts to admit what you've done. I can at least respect that much. Miss Pops, is what you said really the truth?
Yes, it is.
If that's the truth, it certainly isn't the whole truth. Because there is something that seems a bit too improbable in her confession. One who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler. We knew that we could get rich. Okay. Everything was going according to plan as soon as we got the money. How do you know he was trying to kill you? Why do you think he did?
I have no idea, but maybe he had planned on doing so from the very beginning. Miss Pops.
Wait, Mr. Deacon planned to kill Miss Pops from the very beginning? Was that ever really likely to happen? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? No, I'm just gonna sit here. No, raise an objection, bitch. I'm sorry, but I don't think what you just claimed is all that likely.
Huh?
I don't think Mr. Deacon would have ever been capable of killing you.
But why? We were total strangers! It's not uncommon for people to kill each other over money.
Miss Pops, you really are clueless, aren't you?
What do you mean?
You never knew what your role in the kidnapping was, nor do you know who you really are. But I do, and I can show you with this piece of evidence. This proves that Mr. Deacon wouldn't have been able to bring himself to kill Miss Pops. Her pendant, right? Because it's the same. She was talking about the Pegasus thing too. Oh shit!
Why are you showing this to me?
So what about the pendant? This pair of wings, along with this piece of evidence, shows who you really are. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Take that! These two pendants resemble each other, wouldn't you agree?
Hey, you're right. They're the same color and they're even made of the same material.
I believe that these two pendants are actually one. Shall we give it a try?
Wow, it's totally Pegasus. But why? Why does my pendant match up with Mr. Deacon's?
You're a smart lady. I'm sure you can imagine why that might be.
No, that can't be.
So the two make a set. It's just another trinket. It's not as though this changes anything. You lack imagination, Agent Long. Very well. I'll show you with this evidence. This is the piece of evidence that gives meaning to the Pegasus pendant. Wait, hold on, let's check first. Is this it? I think so. Yes. Oliver Deacon was just an alias for this man. His real name was Colin Deveray, the name that is etched onto the horse pendant. What? An alias? I suppose he had to hide the fact that he was a felon somehow in order to live. And it makes sense, given with what is written in Mr. Deveray's dossier. But what I really wanted to point out was this. The specific section is what reveals the true meaning behind those two pendants. The sole daughter part. We thought he might head for where his wife and sole daughter are, but despite our surveillance. Wow, shoot. Mr. Deveray had one daughter, and her name is Lauren Pops.
That's a lie! That person was not my father!
He couldn't come out and tell you he was your father because he was in hiding. However, I believe he was trying to secretly watch over you. Do you still believe that a man like that could kill the daughter he was separated from? Or even that such a man would allow his daughter to get involved in a kidnapping plot? And what's so funny, Agent Lang? You're good at making things up in your head and deciding it's the truth, aren't you? What are you trying to say? Your thinking is much too innocent. After all, I've thought of another possibility. Is that so? Well, let's hear it. I'll grant you that the two of them were father and daughter. But isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? It was no coincidence that the reunited pair became involved in the House of Amano. And the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping. Wouldn't you say my scenario is perfectly probable as well? So this is his version of how things may have been. You don't have any proof that either one didn't know of their true relationship, right?
You mean they knowingly committed the kidnapping as father and daughter?
That's right, as one really rotten family. Is that really what happened? I'd better take a long, hard look at the evidence. Okay. Oh, Lord. Hold on, let's look at the present section. I just want to look at stuff. They stole 3 costumes. So, wouldn't there have to be a third? Okay, well, whatever. I'll grant the two of you, but it's possible that the two of them made good use of their meetings. No, this is wrong. Here we go. We're gonna, okay, that's right. Whew. This kidnapping wasn't planned by just 2 people alone. And what kind of proof do you have of that? Quite simply, there were 3 kidnappers. 3?! That was an interesting thing. 4 costumes were stolen from the Wild Wild West area's back room. We found one of them in the kidnapper's hideout. But as for the other 3, we can assume they were being worn by 3 different people. We also found a set of 3 cups and 3 folding chairs that were used in the hideout. It all clearly points to a 3-man group. And I believe this 3rd person is the real mastermind behind this kidnapping. Who? Who is the mastermind? I present to you the brains behind the kidnapping. Oh God, Mike Meekins. It has to be him. He looks gross. He's only 21? Wait, how old? Okay, she's 17. She's so young. Damn. We don't even know how old this lady is. He was 50, 24. Mike Meekins is younger than me. This is the saddest moment of my life. I could be as old as Old Bag. No, I'm just kidding. Alright. It has to be him. This is an awkward turn of events. Lance Amano! Yes, this abduction was, in fact, schemed up by Lance himself. Recall what he said when he appeared before us. I can totally see Mr. Amano being like, what are you doing? Like, don't blame it on my son. Like, Jesus Christ. Did you see the faces of your kidnappers?
No, I didn't see their faces, but 2. One was a woman.
However, there were 3 kidnappers, which is in direct contradiction to what he said. But, I know I only saw 2 people. This guy was being held hostage. It's possible he couldn't see all 3 of them. Ah, yes, about when you were being held. I have my doubts about what happened then. Lance, would you mind telling us what happened while you were being held captive? I really don't remember much anymore, honest. But if I don't tell you at least something, you won't believe me at all, will you? He's gross. He's so gross. Oh my god, I hate him. I was kidnapped yesterday morning. They had me shut in that room, blindfolded the entire time. But the kidnappers suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside. My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone. I made my escape and ran away from that room as fast as I could. You couldn't... What? Through the underground passageway, I presume? Are you okay? Like, do you need someone? Like, do you need therapy? Sorry, I really didn't want to recall that horrible ordeal, but now you believe me, right? No, not quite yet, to be completely honest, not at all. Oh, how can you not? Why do you look at me with icy daggers in your eyes? Because he's a prosecutor, and because they're all like that. I'll have you know, Agent Lang, a prosecutor's eyes are just for discerning the truth. And should they be interpreted to be cruel at times, then so be it. There's a sticking point in Lance's testimony. Let's see what he offers up when I push a little. Yikes. So, that's such fucking bullshit. He's like, oh yeah, I totally broke down the door. I totally escaped. Like, but he totally did not escape because that doesn't make any sense. How? The door was blocked. Hold on. So, let's press this. Yeah. How did you leave? How did you manage to escape? I wanted to just get out of there, but the door leading outside was locked, which is why I had to use the underground passageway to make my escape. I remember our escape to be equally as hard. This is an invaluable piece of testimony. I must let it go unexamined. Yeah, the door wasn't locked, you piece of fucking shit! Why are you lying? Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Okay, I'm sorry. You say that the door leading out was locked, but was it really? We're talking about that room behind the saloon front, right? Look, I heard that it took quite a few men to get that thing open. Right, Sheena?
Yes, that's correct.
Then take a look at this. What is that? A sword? It's not an especially reliable one if it's broken like that. Allow me to start from the end. My conclusion is that the door was never locked. It was simply being held shut by the sword, which was used to jam the handle. Lance, even though your hands were cuffed together, you could still use them. If that's the case, then why did you not just simply remove the sword and escape? Why didn't I? I was disoriented. Yes, that's it. I didn't notice it. As if I should accept such a bold-faced lie. You locked yourself in that room because you had to make yourself look like the victim. But you did not, in fact, possess the key to the door. That is why you used the prop sword to improvise and create a prison of your very own. Ooh, shit. You've been making this guy out to be one of the kidnappers for some time now. I wonder if you've forgotten something very important along the way. And what would that be? A motive! What else? Do you honestly think that an upright, pure boy like him would hatch up a completely pointless scheme such as kidnapping himself? Look at my cool lines, like... Please, Lang. This proves that Lance did indeed have a motive to commit this crime. A love letter. To put it simply, Lance has a very urgent need for money. This is hardly your typical love letter. It is, in fact, a collections bill. It appears our upstanding boy has accumulated quite a debt. Isn't that right, Lance?
Looks like it's hard being the son of a rich man, too.
It must be rough when you have to resort to stealing from your own old man, huh? All right, I give up. I abducted myself. Okay, you're just... Okay, all right.
Lance!
Oh, the wind blowing. It's over, Lolly. In this life, we really are bound to our fates after all. All I wanted was to go with you to a new town, somewhere where no one would know us. I wanted us to be well off with that 1 million, but no, that dream is over.
Oh, Lance!
Then you are giving yourself up? Yes, I'd planned to run away from this world with my Lolly. Oliver even helped us with the plan, but then he had to go and stab us in the back. He turned on you? Maybe he didn't want to split the ransom money. That's my guess. It happened almost right after you made the drop-off. When we were alone, he attacked me all of a sudden. After a brief struggle, I was able to contain him and keep him under control. We left him inside that room as Lolly and I made our escape. We wore different costumes and split up. Lolly left first in the blue badger costume. That would mean that the person Officer Meekins saw was Miss Pops. But right then, the old man just had to wake up. I was careless, and he tackled me pretty hard from behind. Then Oliver put on the bad badger costume, took the suitcase with the $1 million and ran. I contacted Lolly right away and warned her that he had a gun. They had no idea that they were related, so I thought that it could only end badly.
I still don't believe it. That person was not my father. Because if he was, I just killed my own father.
Lolly, then it really was you? Oh, God, she murdered her own dad? What in the fuck? Chain of events.
That man was not my father, because at the stadium, there was a bad badger pulling the suitcase with the 1 million in it. But that badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead. That's why I used the gun I got from Lance. There was a gunshot. The other person crumpled to the ground, and I ran, scared for my life.
I think the big picture is finally coming into focus, don't you? Lolly, forgive me. I didn't think it would turn into something so frightening. If only I could have protected you! So, Miss Pops, she shot her own dad without even knowing who he really was? If what she says is true...
Are you saying she's lying? But why would she lie about something like that? What purpose would it serve?
You'd be surprised how often people lie without even realizing it themselves, Kay.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
What I mean is, listen very carefully to her confession once more and you'll see. So, let's see. Let me take a sip of water. Hold on. Okay. There's a bad badger pulling the suitcase, but that badger pointed his gun at me. Why? What? Were you able to clearly see the gun?
Yes, I got a very good look at it while it was pointed at me. Oh, Father, why would you try to shoot me?
Do you really think a father would shoot his own daughter, Mr. Edgeworth? I don't know.
I don't want to believe it myself. But it's true. My father's left arm was raised with a gun in it. Pointed straight at me. I'm about to die, I thought.
Miss Pops! Please calm down and take a deep breath. And then, would you allow me to please hear that last statement one more time?
Yes, of course.
It can't be his left hand because his gun is in his right hand. It's this one, I think, right? Yes, I think it's this one. Maybe? Nope, I did the wrong one. Shoot! Where? Oh, whoops, I did the wrong thing. Blah, la, 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 la. Oh, whoops, my bad. It's a cravat. And okay. No. It's not the badger's gun. No. What's... Dominant hand. Right. Can't you shoot with your left hand, though? What? Okay, I guess that's the one. Okay, alright. I have here a dossier on your father. And according to this, your father was right-handed.
Then...
The person pointing a gun at you from atop the stage was not Mr. Deacon. Hold on there, Mr. Prosecutor. Can't you change hands? I think you need to take a refresher course. The bad badger has a model gun attached to his right hand, which is why the only hand he could have held the real gun in with was his left. Isn't it possible that it went down like that? Agent Lang, were you paying attention to what Miss Pops was saying? Then again, I suppose I can't expect someone who's never set foot in court to catch it. Enough with the smugness. Out with it already. Miss Pops told us earlier.
There was a bad badger pulling the suitcase with the 1 million in it.
According to you, the bad badger had a gun in his left hand, which would mean that he was pulling the suitcase with his right hand. Is that correct, Miss Pops?
Yes, exactly. And I'm sure it was the bad badger. It had those huge sunglasses on its face.
But if that's the case, even I can see there's a huge contradiction. Yes, Miss Pops claims to have seen the bad badger, and yet the bad badger had both of his hands full. These two pieces of information contradict each other, so one must be wrong. And we're gonna stop here. So, we're stopping on a cliffhanger. It'll just be like that Mr. Hicks thing all over again. What is the contradiction? It wasn't the bad badger. Both hands were not occupied, or both are correct. I don't know. What's the answer? Woo! We'll find out next time.